Hi there everyone, this is Erum Tasneem. Welcome to Creative Coloring with Erum. Today we will do some alcohol marker coloring and create beautiful cards. I'll be using the Build a Garden Cheerful Coreopses today, and I have cut 7 by 7 inches of classic Crest solar white cardstock. I've already prepped my panel with anti-static powder and I'm just applying the embossing ink onto the stamp. Stamp the image and then cover with anti-gold embossing powder, then heat set. Since I've never had any issues with Altenew alcohol markers and heat embossed images, so I will be coloring directly on the heat embossed panel. But if you are apprehensive, I would suggest stamping your image in a dye-based ink and then restamping it once you are done coloring and then heat embossing it. To color the flowers, I'll be using the Red Cosmos color family. I'll start by adding the darkest color, that is grapevine. This I will add to the base of the petal and to the tips where I want to show bends. And this is such an easy flower to color. As you can see, there are so many jagged edges on the petal tips. So you can just add a flick of a dark pigment onto any of those jagged areas, and you can start building your shadow or depth right from that area. The next color that I will use is ruby red, and I will just extend the grapevine flicks. This is a mid-tone color, and because I want to color my flowers red, I will add more of this. Just remember that the color that you want your flowers to be is the one that you will add the most of. So if you want your flowers to be darker, the grapevine is the one that you will add the most of. Or if the color next to this one, the coral berry, if you want your flower to be lighter, you will add that one more of. Also, I will suggest not to worry too much about blending this particular color, because the color that we'll add next, the coral berry, you can use that one to blend, but this is not the kind of coloring that you need to worry too much about blending. Give some time for the color to dry. Also, the coloring style is in a flicking motion and not in a satin finish, so blending is not really an issue in this type of coloring. Though you can just use the coral berry to soften the flicks and to add highlight. Basically, I use the coral berry to add a pop. This actually adds a bit of a high saturation and adds highlight to this red flower. If you use the same colors as I am using, you will notice that once you add the coral berry to ruby red, especially if you have some white space, a white base, then you will notice high saturation element right away. If you want more highlight, I would suggest leaving slivers of plain cardstock showing so that you can see this highlight, pop right off. As much as we add lighter colors, they will not appear as vibrant compared to a white cardstock. Fourth color that I will add is frosty pink, and this is optional. You don't even have to add this. This is only for those people who do not like the stark white highlight. What you can do is, I have done this for some of the petals. I have left some of the slivers of white showing. Like if I want a really popping white highlight, I left it on some of the white petals, and for the rest of the petals I used frosty pink. To color the flower center, I will use butternut and Sicilian amber artist alcohol markers. I will apply the darker marker, which is the Sicilian amber in a C shape, and this can be as thick as you want to, the C shape. And then I will use the lighter marker, which is the butternut, and apply that overall on the entire flower center. I want to show you this flower up close. You can also create highlights using a colorless blender, but if you leave the area uncolored, that has its own appeal compared to the highlights you create with a colorless blender. So these petals, these two, look like they are shining compared to the rest of them because I left white spaces as highlights on these. To color the stems and leaves, I'll first add Evergreen Artist Alcohol Marker. This is the darkest in the Green Fields Artist Alcohol Marker set. This I will add to the starting points and to the bends where there's going to be shadow or where the sunlight is not hitting. Then I will blend this out with forest glades. I'm using the bullet tip because my marker is drying. You can use a brush tip because it is easier to blend with the brush tip. The last color that I will use is Frayed Leaf, which completes the green portion of the image. After this, I will use the coordinating die to die cut the image and set it aside. I have cut out 2 panels of black cardstock. One is A2 size and the other is slimline, which is 3.5 by 7 inches. Because the image is quite big, I decided to create 2 cards out of it. So for the A2 panel, I will first add splatters of from pure white ink spray, and this is the card that I will have a white outline on my image. Flip the image and use a pencil to draw a line so that you get an idea of where to cut the image. Once you have cut the image, use a glue tape to adhere the image onto the A2 size panel. This image will have a white outline. Then I will use a jet black marker and color the outline, the white outline, black for the slimline image, the leftover image, the excess image that I've cut off. Be careful while doing this. You might cover the embossing, the heat embossing a little bit, but it's not going to make a lot of difference since you will be sticking it over a black panel. It will look beautiful anyway. On the slimline panel, I will first add gold splatters from the metallic watercolor 14 band set, and believe me, it is going to look so beautiful with the red and the black, with all the gold embossing and also the pop of yellow in the flower center. Then I'll use instant dimension foam tape to adhere the image. Next, I will add more gold splatters after adhering the image. I will add some gold splatters onto the other panel as well, the A2 one, to add some bling. You can also add sequins as well. For the sentiments, I heat emboss the sentiments on black cardstock and then die cut them using coordinating dies. And that's it. My cards are ready. I hope you liked the tutorial and my project. I love how they turned out. Which one do you like best? I personally like the one where I've colored the outline black. I would love to know which one is your favorite. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Hello there. Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.